Very good evening. In this video, I am explaining the differences between import mode and direct query mode. These are the two important modes used in Power BI to connect to the data to Power BI from data sources. So we use these modes based on requirements and situation and the amount of data and refresh times requires for the data. So first I will discuss about import mode. I am explaining about import mode. How this import mode is works. In this import mode, data is imported and stored in Power BI's in-memory data model. So in import mode, data is imported into the Power BI's in-memory data model. Reports queries Reports query this in-memory data for faster performance. So reports queries this data presented in memory for faster performance. So by importing the data in Power BI's data model, the performance is speed. Performance faster because the data is preloaded into memory. Due to the presence of data in memory, the performance is fast. Suitable for large data sets when refresh frequency is slow. This import mode is suitable when we are working with large data sets and the data sets requires low frequency time, less frequency times. Data refresh. How we will refresh the data when we use import mode. Data is refreshed on a schedule or manually. We may follow two types to refresh the data in memory. It is it is in schedule or memory. When we follow a schedule method, we update it daily or hourly based on the requirement of the data, or we update it manually. Changes in the source data will not reflect in real time. If we change anything in the source data, it will not affect on the real time. So uh, it is constant in the real time data. Use case. When we use this import mode, it is best for static or semi-dynamic data sets. So this import mode is best for static or semi-dynamic data sets where real-time updates are not critical. When the real-time updates are not important, when we use and data sets are static or semi-dynamic, we use this import mode. Pros and cons. For everything, there is some pros and some cons. But for this import mode, what are the cons? Pros. The pros are fast performance for complex calculations. For complex calculations, it provides a fast performance. No dependency on the source system during report use. When we use report, there is no dependence on the source system. It is independent of the source system's performance. Cons. What are the cons? Cons means disadvantage. It requires more memory and storage in the Power BI's memory. So import mode, when we use import mode, it requires more memory and storage in the Power BI environment. Data is not real time. In import mode, the data is not real time. The data is historical for some point. Direct query mode. Till now, we are discussing about the import mode. Now we are telling the direct query mode. What is this direct query mode and how it works? How the performance and what are the data refresh types, where it is used, and what are the pros and cons. Queries in this direct query mode, the queries are sent directly to the data source wherever a reporter is accessed. Whenever a reporter is accessed, the queries are directly sent to the data source. So uh, it depends on the data source. No data is stored in Power BI. In direct query mode, the data is not stored in Power BI. Only the metadata is stored in Power BI. Performance slower because every interaction triggers a query to the data source. The performance of report when we use direct query is slow because of when we interact anything, it triggers a query to the data source. Depends heavily on the performance of the source database. So it depends on the performance of the source database. When the performance of the source database is high, its performance is also high. When the performance source database is low, the performance of this direct query then also slow. Data refresh. How we say refresh the data by using direct query. Real time or near real time data updates. In this direct query mode, it requires real time or in real time or near real time data update as queries retrieve the latest data. In this, the queries retrieve the latest data. Use case where we use this direct query method best for larger constantly changing data sets where real time data is essential. When we work with when we have when we want real-time data or it requires constantly or large changing data sets, we use this direct query method. Pros. This direct query method also has some pros and cons. Pros means advantage. The advantages of direct query method is there is no need to preload or store data in Power BI. So there is no need to preload the data in Power BI. Always displays the most recent data. When we use direct query method, it always displays the most recent data. There is no need to update the real-time data or refresh the data. Cons slower performance for complex queries. The cons of the direct query method are the performance is slow for complex queries, so it doesn't support complex queries as efficient as high dependency on the source system availability and performance. So in direct query method, it depends highly on the source system's availability and performance. It is not a independent. Key differences. Till now we have discussed it in uh, some sentences. Now we have a table. The features are in one column and the import mode and direct query features are represented opposite these features. So these are the bullet points. By using these bullet points, we easily understand and remember the import mode and direct query features and differences. In import mode, import mode, direct query mode. Features are storage, performance, data updates, use case, complex queries. In import mode, storage, data is stored in Power BI memory. So in import mode, data is stored in Power BI memory. Direct query mode, data remains in the source system. So it doesn't store in the Power BI memory. In import mode, performance is faster as data is preloaded. Due to the preloading of data, the performance is faster in import mode. In direct query mode, performance is slower, depends on source system. Due to the presence of dependency on the source system, the performance is slower in direct query mode. Data updates. Import mode requires scheduled refresh. So we refresh the data schedulely like hourly or uh, daily based on the requirement of the data refreshment. Direct query mode. In direct query mode, the data updates are real time or near real time. There is no need to refresh the data. Import mode use case where we use this import mode, it is best for static or semi-dynamic data. So import mode is best for static or semi-dynamic data. Direct query mode, Direct query mode is best for dynamic or real-time data. Import mode handles them efficiently. In import mode, complex queries are handles them efficiently. Direct query mode. In direct query mode, complex queries are may slow down depending on query. If the query is high, the performance is low. So it depends on the source system. These are the main key differences between import mode and direct query mode. Tip: we must follow this tip when we working with when we want to use which method or choose import mode or direct query method. Use import mode for most cases. In most of the cases, we use import mode unless real-time data is required or your data is too large or to store in Power BI. When the data is requires less number of real-time data and less number of refreshes, or it is too large to store in Power BI, we use import mode. These are the main difference and importance of import mode and direct query mode. I hope this video helps to you to understand the difference between import mode and direct query mode. Thank you.